Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. Though reggae music is undeniably huge all over the world, it's hard to find anywhere else that its themes of unity, resistance to oppressors, and denunciation of neo-colonialism resonate louder than the motherland of Africa. The Southern African nation of Zimbabwe in particular has more than a passive relationship with the genre, as it was the music that would inspire the rebel fighters that won the country's independence in 1980. Bob Marley famously played a groundbreaking and historic concert at Zimbabwe's independence ceremony that saw strongman Robert Mugabe sworn into office. Since then, the country has maintained a strong relationship with reggae music and Jamaican reggae artists over the years, with the likes of Fred Locks, Luciano and Coco T performing there to huge crowds over the years. But I believe the most eventful, dramatic and almost comedic turn of events took place when the fiery superstar Sizzla Kalonji was elected to perform at the 30th independence anniversary and President Mugabe's 86th birthday. It became something of a mixed bag for Sizzla, as he would become enmeshed in local politics while basking in the euphoria of a hero's welcome from Zimbabwe's fanatical reggae fans. And most tellingly, he would come face to face with the larger-than-life personality and unpredictable antics of the nation's #1 citizen. Let's take a look at Sizzla's Zimbabwe homecoming tour in 2010, and how President Mugabe refused to pay him but decided instead to compensate him with a huge piece of farmland. Now, as said earlier, reggae holds a special place at the very core of Zimbabwe's national psyche. In fact, the first announcement made when the country gained independence was presenting Bob Marley and the Wailers, barely a few seconds after the new country's flag was raised for the first time at the National Stadium. Bob Marley would put on a spectacular show that night for the elite, and another for the masses the next day. And President Mugabe would over the years maintain a warm relationship with Jamaica, and was even awarded the Order of Jamaica when he visited the island in 1996. Fast forward 30 years later, the Zimbabwean government was organizing that country's 30-year independence anniversary celebration, and reggae, of course, was to play a big part of that event. The organizing committee would book several artists for the event, with Sizzla Kalonji as the show headliner due to his incredibly strong fan base in the country, as he was considered to be the Bob Marley for the new millennium. President Mugabe was then on the receiving end of heavy criticism over the country's economic problems and alleged human rights violations. So Sizzla was hired not only for his music, but also to lift the country's mood. It's even been said that Mugabe personally called Sizzla to beg him to attend. So Sizzla and his crew were booked alongside the Caveman International Sound System from Kingston to make a groundbreaking appearance at the celebrations that was scheduled to kick off on February the 21st. Sizzla landed at the Bulawayo airport on the 20th to a massive rapturous welcome as thousands of fans filled the place to give the icon an unforgettable welcome. From the airport, Sizzla and his crew were taken to an official state reception that was hosted by Mugabe himself. And after settling in at his hotel, he went into the town to soak up some culture. That evening, he paid a visit to the immensely popular but now defunct Red Fox Hotel, a club and lounge that was ground zero of Zimbabwe's reggae scene and featured the tightest bands and reggae DJs in the land. The next day, Sizzla would put in his first performance on African soil with a concert at Zimbabwe's International Trade Fair Center at Bulawayo that was organized in honor of President Mugabe's 86th birthday. He was stunned at the humongous crowd that came to watch him perform, and he would go on to thrill them with some of his most popular songs like Black Woman and Child, Just One of Those Days, and No Other Like Jah. I know for a fact that Sizzla always puts in 100% into his shows, but that day he would give a little extra. In fact, his show was so thrilling that it led to disturbances in the crowd as overexcited fans stormed a barricade fence and knocked it down in an effort to get a closer look at Sizzla, and the police responded by beating the living hell out of the fans. Sizzla was outraged and told the band to stop performing. The fans were furious and began to launch stones, shoes, bottles, and all they could find at the cops. It took a passionate appeal from Sizzla for the crowd to calm down and for the concert to continue. Exactly what happened 30 years before when Bob Marley came to play in 1980. Bob and the Wailers were horrified at the beatdown that fans received during the performance and stopped playing in protest. and the Tough Gong reportedly expressed reservations about Mugabe and his new government. And after that concert was done, Sizzla would put in an epic performance at the Youth Reggae Festival, which held at the Harare International Conference Center, an event where he once again rocked the house big time. Sizzla's presence was really electrifying that country, and the government sought to cash in on his popularity by granting him a work and business visa to encourage him to stay back and invest in the country. But that's where things got complicated for Sizzla. Mugabe was one unpredictable character and instructed the organizing committee not to pay Sizzla the agreed performance fees that were as high of $150,000, and instead offered him a large piece of farmland in a town called Chegutu that's about 100 kilometers from the capital of Harare. And according to insiders, Sizzla was furious at the idea at first, but after heavy convincing by government officials, he would warm up to the whole idea. After accepting this land payment, his publicist, Oli Matatao, happily told the press all about it. But this news would spark mixed reactions from the public, as many people felt that Sizzla was getting paid to launder Mugabe's battered image. In fact, that backlash was so severe that the country's information minister had to make a statement denying it, even though no one believed him. But despite all the controversy, Sizzla and his team were having a ball in the country and stayed on for a long time. Mugabe instructed that a state-of-the-art recording studio be built and equipped for Kalonji and his crew in the plush Harare suburb of Borodale. Sizzla would record a few songs over there, backed by a Zimbabwean reggae band called Transit Crew, before heading back to Jamaica. But Everton Moore, the owner of the Caveman sound system, stayed back in Zimbabwe for over a year to run that studio and would produce local artists like Ayara, Mike Ainiti, and Rassi I. But despite this cozy relationship, Mugabe shocked the world in 2012 when he described Jamaican men as drunks and weed smokers who want to sing and don't want to go to college. Unexpectedly, there was outrage from many quarters, and Sizzla would respond in a statement not long after. But it didn't spoil his love for Zimbabwe though, and he in fact returned to the country in 2011 and came again in 2012 as part of a tour that was named Jah Put a Hand on Africa Tour that featured artists like Fred Locks, Fabian Marley, and Wildlife. And he would stay friendly with President Mugabe until his overthrow by the army in 2017. Sizzla has played thousands of concerts in his career over the last 3 decades, but I can bet that one of his most unforgettable experiences were his dealings and interactions with the late President Robert Mugabe. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.